Welcome to the Courtroom Chronicles. This channel is dedicated to educational content based on real-life cases and true events. This content shared here is drawn directly from the actual case file, and no names, places, or items have been changed. However, the content has been carefully summarized and presented for educational purposes in a comprehension format to inform, enlighten, and spark meaningful discussions. Whether you're here to learn, reflect, or simply understand the real-world scenarios better, you're in the right place. We believe in the power of truthful storytelling to educate and inspire. Disclaimer: while all stories are based on real cases, they are presented in a condensed and structured format for clarity and learning. Viewer discretion is advised where necessary. This case is cited from the Nigerian High Court online file, which is public record. This is a case between Agada Michael Agbo Anor v. NNPC Staff Multipurpose Cooperative Society Anor's Court, High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Judge, Honor Justice O.C. Agbaza. Date 3 February 2021. Suit FCT HC CV 2079-2020. Background: the claimants, representing retired NNPC staff, challenged the validity of the June 30, 2020 election into the Management Committee of the first defendant, NNPC Staff Multipurpose Cooperative Society, Abuja. They contended that the election process violated Sections 20D and 48 of the Cooperative's bylaws, which mandate that elections must be conducted via balloting or electronic voting, and that no change can be made without an amendment by a two-thirds majority. They also argued that the online voting process adopted did not allow for proper accreditation or physical convergence, thus undermining the transparency and legality of the election. The subsequent swearing-in of committee members was also contested. Questions for determination: whether elections outside prescribed methods in the bylaws, balloting, electronic voting, are valid without prior amendment. Whether an online voting process without physical convergence and accreditation complies with the bylaws. Whether the June 30, 2020 election was unconstitutional and liable to be set aside. Whether unauthorized individuals can swear in committee members. Whether individuals can be sworn in without a certificate of return. Whether an election declared inconclusive can result in a valid management committee. Key rulings: jurisdiction and procedure. The court dismissed the defendant's preliminary objection. The objection based on non-exhaustion of internal remedies, Section 45A of the bylaw, was rejected because the defendants failed to demonstrate the existence of a dispute resolution committee. The claimants had also taken sufficient steps to resolve the dispute internally, and procedural irregularities like the absence of a pre-action counseling certificate were treated as waived. Interpretation of bylaws. Section 20D. Elections must be conducted via physical balloting or electronic voting as explicitly defined. Internet voting without physical accreditation is not compliant. Section 48. Bylaws can only be amended by a two-thirds vote during an AGM. No such amendment was made to accommodate internet voting. Swearing in of committee members. Any swearing in based on an inconclusive election and not supervised by authorized persons, 12th and 13th defendants, was ruled null and void. Reliefs granted. The elections were declared invalid. The new management committee was disbanded. Injunctions were granted to restrain the defendants from parading or recognizing the improperly constituted management committee. The court ordered a fresh election within 90 days. However, the claim for $100 million in damages was denied for lack of sufficient evidence. Who won the case? The claimants won. The court ruled in favor of Agada Michael Agbo Anor. The defendants lost on several grounds. They failed to conduct the election according to the explicit provisions of their own bylaws. They did not amend the bylaws to allow for the different voting method used, internet voting without physical convergence. They lacked evidence to show that the election was properly concluded or that it was proper for the new committee to be sworn in. The required internal mechanisms for dispute resolution were not demonstrated to exist. Why the defendants lost the case? Procedural impropriety. They bypassed express provisions in their own rules regarding election processes. Lack of proper amendment. They relied on internet voting without amending the bylaws to permit it. Unlawful swearing in. The swearing-in was done without following due process or the proper officials. Failure to establish dispute resolution compliance. They failed to prove the existence or use of an internal dispute resolution committee. Further legal analysis. How could this have been avoided? Adherence to governing rules. The cooperative society should have strictly followed its bylaws. If they wanted to change the voting method due to extraordinary circumstances, e.g. COVID-19, a proper amendment following Section 48 should have been conducted. Establishment of internal dispute resolution mechanism. If a dispute resolution committee, as required under Section 45A, had been properly constituted and functional, the dispute could potentially have been resolved internally without resorting to litigation. Transparent and inclusive electoral process. An election involving internet voting should have incorporated adequate accreditation, clear guidelines, and communication with all stakeholders to ensure fairness and transparency. Compliance with legal formalities. Any swearing-in should be conducted only after issuance of certificates of return and under supervision of authorized officials. Documentation and communication. Adequate and clear documentation regarding every step of the election and decision-making process would have strengthened the defendant's case and possibly revealed compliance or justified deviations. Thanks so much for watching, fam. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and let me know what you think about the case. I love hearing your thoughts and feedback. And hey, if you felt a connection or learned something new, give this video a like and share it with someone who might enjoy it too. Until next time, stay safe, stay real, and I'll catch you in the next one.